One of the newest uranium producers has reported their third quarter results. enCore Energy, the only company with 2 operational uranium processing plants in the United States this week, posted their results. And while they may not be the most positive results in the world, they appear to be setting the stage for the coming bull cycle as nuclear sentiment picks up. This is a stock that's been a big performer, up over 1,200% over the last 5 years. And now investors are watching to see if they can take it to the next level. All right, uranium bulls, we're talking uranium, we're talking Q3 earnings, we're talking enCore Energy. Let's dive in. Okay, so let's start with the high level. Revenue in the third quarter of 2024 came in at $9.3 million for enCore, a 74% improvement on a quarter-over-quarter basis from $5.3 million. enCore notably had no production in the third quarter of 2023, so there's no real reason to compare the year-over-year figures here. Cost of goods sold, however, came in at $10.6 million versus $8.3 million in the prior quarter, with both quarters representing negative gross profits. The third quarter, however, did show some improvement, with gross losses falling from $3 million in Q2 to $1.4 million in this quarter. The losses are attributed to uranium that enCore was required to purchase to meet delivery commitments. Expenses during the period, meanwhile, totaled $13 million, a 105% increase on a sequential basis. The massive increase is said to be related to the startup of the firm's Alta Mesa processing facility, along with exploration and development initiatives at several projects. This led to a loss from operations of $14.4 million versus $9.4 million in Q2, and a comprehensive loss attributable to shareholders of $13.9 million or 10 cents a share. Comparatively, losses in the second quarter amounted to $9.6 million or 5 cents a share. enCore ended the third quarter with cash of $46 million on the book versus $56 million as of the end of the second quarter. When it comes to enCore's performance in terms of uranium production in the third quarter, things are a bit unclear. Within the news release, the company talked about everything in terms of the 9-month performance, leaving us to read between the lines to get the quarterly details. For the 9 months ended September 30th, contract deliveries of uranium have totaled 530,000 pounds, which, based on details provided at the end of the second quarter, implies total deliveries during the third quarter of 120,000 pounds. Average pricing on a per pound basis for the 9-month delivery figure was $84.85 versus $87.11 per pound at the end of the second quarter for the 6-month average. Simple math of dividing pounds delivered by the revenue figure suggests that the company on average saw a price per pound of $77.10 in Q3. As for actual uranium production, things are a bit more murky. This week, enCore stated that they had extracted and packaged 100,000 pounds of yellow cake for delivery within the 9-month period, but provided no context within the news release for quarterly details. The MD&A, however, indicated that of the 120,000 pounds sold during Q3, just 20,000 was produced by the company at their Rosita facility, with no sales occurring from production at Alta Mesa. The third quarter, meanwhile, saw enCore enter into an 8 uranium supply contract for delivery of 300,000 pounds of yellow cake in 2028 and 2029, bringing total contractual commitments to 4.8 million pounds between 2024 and 2029. Okay, so let's take a brief look under the hood at the operational side of things. Late in the second quarter, Alta Mesa came online, bringing enCore to a total of 2 operating uranium central processing plants. The third quarter, despite production ramp up at Alta Mesa, saw no production from the facility actually sold. Production details were also not provided for the third quarter. However, development continues here, with drilling and wellfield installation occurring at Wellfield 7 at Alta Mesa, which is said to support expansion through a second circuit at the plant. Head grades are said to have peaked at 140 milligrams per liter U3O8 during the quarter, which averages 65. Development drilling is also ongoing to identify and classify additional resources here. At the Rosita plant, development has continued at the Upper Spring Creek ISR project, which is expected to extend the volume of yellow cake for processing at Rosita. Monitor well installation has begun at Upper Strong Creek to advance the project in an effort to provide satellite feed for Rosita in 2025, with equipment already ordered in advance of construction in anticipation of regulatory approval. Efforts at Rosita and Alta Mesa, meanwhile, are expected to reduce the cost to revenue ratio as efficiency comes into play, while enCore is forecasting production in excess of 1 million pounds in 2025. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Were enCore's earnings the best? Not by any stretch. Obviously, they currently have a costing problem, but that's not exactly surprising given that this year they have brought 2 separate ISR facilities online, which continue to ramp production. In the world of uranium stocks, I think this feat alone is pretty impressive. That being said, while that ramp up is ongoing, there's going to be additional costs that come into play, and production will be lower, meaning the cost per pound will basically suck. It's part of the process. What matters for enCore here is whether they can get both facilities to produce at capacity on a go-forward basis. Rosita is licensed for 800,000 pounds of yellow cake production a year, while Alta Mesa is licensed for 1.5 million pounds. Based on soft guidance provided, enCore won't be producing at capacity by the end of next year, but it takes time to develop the necessary well fields. Provided they can begin to soon operate on a cash flow positive basis, well, then it won't be much of a problem. All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Guys, if there's any companies you want us to cover, please let us know in the comment section. We are here to serve you guys, our audience, and the companies you want us to cover, we're going to put on our list to try to get to. Thanks for watching, everybody.